All right, so here we go with James 1:13. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. So again, with these, we want to make sure that we know what the original author means to his original audience. So here we go. Let no one say when he is tempted. Now, this tempted idea, this is being enticed to do wrong actions. Okay? So when someone is enticed to do wrong actions, it's not God. Let him not say that he's being tempted by God. It's not God tempting him, because God cannot be tempted by evil. So now some people might say, well, wait a minute. Wasn't Jesus tempted by Satan when he spent those 40 days in the wilderness? That was Matthew chapter 4. Well, I think this tempted word means a little bit different for James versus Matthew back then. But in this case here, if we look at this, it was Satan tempting him, whereas the end of this verse says he himself, God, doesn't tempt anyone. So it wasn't God tempting Jesus, it was Satan tempting Jesus. Now let's also look as to why God cannot be tempted by evil. So this evil idea, this is not the opposite of good. It's actually a twisting or a perversion of God's nature. So when you say God is being tempted, well, he's being tempted to go against his own nature. Well, in that case there, that's irrelevant. You can't be tempted to go against your own nature. Now, some of these attributes of God, and he has quite a few there. He's unchangeable, or immutable is the big fancy word for that. All-knowing, all-powerful. He is just. God is love. He also is faithful. So those are some of the attributes of God. And again, God cannot be tempted by evil, because that is going against his own nature. Just like us, we can't be tempted to go against our own nature. Now, James is going to further this idea in the next in the next verse as well. Okay, so remember, God does put challenges in our path to help us grow, to grow in character. These challenges are put in front of us to make us better. So the difference kind of between tempting and these challenges is, like, think back when you were in school. And again, James learned all of these big ideas growing up because he grew up with Jesus. But a good teacher wouldn't try and trick you into doing something wrong. They put challenges, they give you tests, they give you homework in order to grow your skills academically, but a good teacher wouldn't put things in there to trick you to do something wrong. So sometimes they put trick questions in there to make sure you know what's going on. And again, that would be a challenge, but they're not trying to get you to do the wrong math procedure or whatever it might be. So remember, God puts challenges in front of us and doesn't tempt us. And we'll figure out a little bit more on this temptation thing in the next verse.